Hey everybody, happy Juneteenth. Today is Saturday, June 19th, and what I'm seeing is a lot of different feelings around this celebration in every community all across the board. So if you are joining live, please say hi. Please say where you're from. And yeah, and just make sure that you share some comments as I talk. A lot has come up around this holiday and the fact that literally it was made a federal holiday just a couple of days ago, not that long ago. And I'm going to admit, I really had never heard about Juneteenth until a few years ago and didn't fully understand its significance or its meaning. I just thought when I came to California, honestly, the fact that the kids had so many days off of school, I really thought that it was to make up for the fact that we never had snow days here. And when I raised my kids in New Jersey, so there was always, snow days around to to sprinkle in throughout the school year. So I thought International Women's Day, Juneteenth, and other things were just exclusive to the Bay Area. And it really wasn't until last year that I started diving a little bit deeper into it and realized, oh, wow, this is really a significant holiday. And so there's a lot of mixed feelings around it. So a little bit of facts about Juneteenth. Now, the Emancipation Proclamation was signed on June 1st, 1863. And here's the thing. It only really took effect in the Confederate States when the Union soldiers showed up to enforce it. So that meant that slave owners and the government did not have to abide by the law. And so Juneteenth came about because the Union soldiers showed up in Galveston, Texas on, I guess it was June 19th, 1865, to enforce the Emancipation Proclamation in Texas. And that was the last area, the last state that where the enslaved people got word of their freedom. Now, just because freedom was law doesn't mean it happened in actuality. So we can go in all kinds of history about that. But for that reason, that it had to be enforced by the Union soldiers before the slave owners and the government would do anything about it. I guess it was the 2-year gap, so to speak, between the time it was signed and all the enslaved people got word of their freedom and were able to be free. And I'll put that in quotation marks in the sense that whatever freedom meant at that time. And it just kind of made things harder in a way, but also exciting and full of new beginnings. So one of the things about this holiday is people don't see it as a celebration, number one, because it took 2 years and we have never really been free. Freedom has been quite this journey over the years, and it's seen all kinds of its manifestations in Black and Indigenous communities. And, here's the thing. I see this as a starting point. The fact that it's a federal holiday is a part of Black Lives Matter. We matter. We matter. Is it perfect? No. Is any of this perfect? No. But it is movement, because if we don't do anything, we're stagnant. And nothing happens and nothing changes. And it takes courage to create. Yes, it took a while for Martin Luther King Day to be a holiday. Black History Month, like, really, we need a month for Black history. Black history needs to be a part of history in the education system because it was so much a big part of the foundation that this United States was built on and how Black people, slaves in particular, were treated. And how we built this country, how this country has this history, this embarrassing, painful, shameful history of white supremacy. And here's the thing, guys, it's rearing its ugly head now more than ever after the events of last year. And so nothing is perfect, and complaining doesn't foster movement. And I want to really find ways to have solutions. Like, what's next? This is a step, literally a step. You know, I was listening to part of Dr. King's speech this morning when they were talking about what is it? Stone Mountain, Georgia. They was talking about Stone Mountain, Georgia on the news today, and their Juneteenth celebration, which is right next to, you know, an area with the Confederate flags and Robert E. Lee streets and monuments in the mountain, carved in the mountain. And I never really noticed that Martin Luther King Jr. Referenced that area, that place, and specifically in his I Have a Dream speech. But he also said, I may not get there with you. And I feel the same way. I'm not Dr. Martin Luther King. Please don't hear that. But I don't know how much change is going to happen in my lifetime. But I do know I see hints and sprinkles and attempts at changing, and it's not going to be perfect. And my point in sharing this with you is that we get to come together to seek out solutions. For some, this is not a holiday. It's a painful reminder of just how effed up the United States is and can be. For others, it's hope, it's progress, it's a recognition that we desire, we feel we need, we feel we deserve, so that because we matter. And so there's all kinds of feelings going on here. And so I would love to hear what you feel about it. But listen, this is hard, and change requires us to do things that feel hard. That's why I'm actually doing a live workshop next Saturday that I would love everyone to join me in. And I put the link in the comments, because we all know that we want to see a certain amount of change in action, but to be really clear on what that looks like and the best way to get there, how to set our GPS to get there, is going to be a lot of trial and error. It simply is. And it's painful when you think about the history of this country and how we're still fighting to matter. However, it's hopeful to see that the conversation has been amplified, and more our voices are getting heard in the Black and Indigenous communities as well. So I want to invite you next Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific time to join me in a workshop, a high performance workshop that actually incorporates cultural inclusion and equity and equality and social consciousness into your life, so that it's sustainable, so it doesn't come up when we're pissed off, when there's a crime, when there's something we don't like, but some things that we can consciously do and incorporate into our lives that move the solutions forward and bring us to being further along. I think this is really hopeful that Juneteenth is a holiday, which means as a federal holiday, it hopefully gets to be taught in the schools, just like Columbus Day was. And we all know what a crock of Columbus Day is. And, you know, there is a step of getting real history taught. Someone was sharing with me earlier that they feel that this needs to start at home and needs to be taught at home. But as we teach it in schools, our children will have a foundation on where to start these conversations at home. But a lot of people do not know the history themselves to have this conversation at home. That's why I think having Juneteenth, a federal holiday, is a step in the right direction. So anyway, thank you for listening. I'd love to hear your comments about this because I recognize and know that we all have a different perspective on what this looks like, what this conversation looks like. So I appreciate you listening, and I hope to see you all next week at the live workshop. And don't worry if you can't attend live, just register and we'll make sure that you get the recording to have and to hold from this day forward. All right, guys. Happy Juneteenth. Talk to you soon. Bye.